Hi, as you know, we were out protesting on the 25th of this month about the new proposed EU legislation regarding motorcycles that's still at committee level now at the moment. I'm just following up from the previous report, and what I've done is I've called a couple of MEPs to get their views, so listen in and it's bound to be interesting. Here's Liam Aylward to clarify his position.
Well, I'm not an expert. I'm not on the committee now, but I am aware of it because I was talking to the lads here, the groups, you know.
Did you get to read the legislation yourself, the proposed legislation?
Yeah, I've seen, I know the content, what they're concerned about, yeah.
Okay, I've another question for you as well. Do you know how much it's going to cost to implement all the procedures for testing motorcycles?
No, I wouldn't have, for the individuals. For individuals themselves?
No, for the actual government to implement, basically to buy all the...
No, I haven't heard a figure put on it. Yeah. Is there a figure?
I don't think there is. This is the reason I've asked that question.
No, I haven't heard a figure now. No. Look, I met my own crowd here, you know, and then all the different groups around the country, so I totally understand. I'm very much in tune with what they have to say, you know.
So you wouldn't be voting for it if you did have a vote?
Oh, I'd be voting at that plenary. It will come to plenary, you see. It will come to the plenary in the Parliament, and I'd be voting then.
Okay, and would you mind me asking what way you would vote on the legislation?
Oh, I'd vote against it. I told him that. I've already committed myself to that.
Oh, that's brilliant, Liam.
I know, I met there's the Cardiff crowd here, my own constituency that I represented for years. They've been in touch with me, you know.
Okay.
And then the various groups around the country have been in touch with me. And I've told them all the same thing, you know.
Yeah, I reckon we're going to lose a lot of jobs, and I don't really think it'll be just.
I just know, as I tell you, to my point of view, it's more it's a lack of understanding. So somebody in an office,
exactly,
being in legislation with a lack of understanding, no practical experience what's involved, you know.
Do you know what, you're on the exact same page as most of us are, Liam. I think it's legislation for legislation's sake.
Yeah, but you know, we see this all the time out there because we forever have to be on our guard, you know.
Yeah, which is not the way we'd like to be able to sit back and fight this recession rather than having to keep watching over our shoulder.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and you know, I know myself the history of I was a sports minister a couple of times in Ireland, you know, and I know the history of sport, and I know the value of having people in groups and organisation, you know. There's a much bigger thing than, you know, that, like the discipline and stuff that it brings to people's lives, and, you know, I know, like, motorcycle groups, any group at all involved in sport activity, even the guards will tell you that themselves, the police, you know.
Yeah, Liam.
There's a social aspect to that. There's everything. You know what I mean. There's a discipline aspect. There's a whole, shaping the person and regulation, rules within their own organisation. You know what I'm saying? All of that applies, and you have a better, stronger citizen at the end of the day as well.
I think you're right, Liam, and I think that we seem to be on the right track. There's just a couple of stick in the muds there, I reckon.
Yeah, but I think in fairness that they're doing a good lobbying job. I know that they've been fairly active with a lot of the member states, you know. But like, when you look at this, if you look at even the full Irish vote here, right, you know, there's 12 of us, the Parliament 750. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
This has to be a European job, you know.
Yeah, it needs to be the whole lot of us banding together, really.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because it's the manufacturers. The last thing the manufacturers need is extra paperwork.
That's the thing. That's exactly it.
All right, Liam, thanks a million for your views, and they are much appreciated. I'm not just saying that because they're in view with my own. I just say thanks a million for taking the call as well. That was Liam Aylward there, Fianna Fáil, one of our MEPs. Next up we have Mark from the offices of Mairead McGuinness MEP, just confirming some of the suspicions I already have. Mark, you were a great help. Needs no more introduction. Here's Mark.
Because it's clear that your industry missed the chance. They perhaps should have been a bit more switched on because the deadline for amendments was back in May this year. They should have been looking at this legislation a long time ago. So maybe your industry body should be aware that between November the 22nd, there will be another deadline for tabling amendments. It just means that there is a higher bar to jump over in order to get those amendments tabled.
Okay, and a sure theoretical approach. Committee level, as you said, there would be people that would have to vote on it to get it killed off at committee level, which would save everybody else voting and give you a bit more time.
That's correct, yes, that is true. But as I say, the only people that can do that are the people who are on the industry committee. They're the people that you need to be focusing on. There is so many full members of the committee, and then they have a number of substitute members. If a full member cannot vote, then a substitute is called. But the maximum number of people that could ever vote is the maximum number of full members on any committee.
That was Mark there from the offices of Mairead McGuinness, MEP in Brussels. Lads and ladies, we know what to do. We need to get a 51% of that committee to vote against it, and it'll be dropped there. We won't be wasting the EU's time, we won't be wasting our own time. It's just the best thing to do. So ask your friends in France, Germany, Spain, Holland, everywhere they are, to log onto that EU website, have a look at the list. I'm going to stick it up here on the site and on this video. Send emails. Nicely structured emails, don't be rude, let's go the political route on this. Send them maybe even once a week. As we know, the industry is sort of on its knees at the minute, and the last thing we need is more regulations. It's just going to hold everything back. So I'm asking everybody to unite here in Europe against this legislation, as it's just not workable. Thanks everybody for watching, and let's hope we can get this thing stopped.